People around the president, I mean, we saw it in the last regime, and it looks like it's a continuum, which is a very sad and tragic thing, that, this thing called a few people, and, without the knowledge of the officers that are responsible, will connive and collect money and do all manners of things, and then start appointing people or giving them letters. There was somebody in the last government who got one appointment from one particular, he got one appointment letter, and he got another letter sacking him. Of course, he dropped the one that sacked him and took the appointment, and then later on the other person, I mean, it's all very messy. And this is the problem of incompetence. If you do not prioritize knowledge and integrity in your appointment, that is exactly what you're going to get. This country will continue to suffer because all institutions will decay, they will not do their jobs, and of course, our image, even within the country, if you were the president.
Is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu really in charge of his administration? Many Nigerians believe that his wife, or perhaps his son, or some people within the cabal are ruling Nigeria currently, because the president himself is not even 100% fit, to be the president of over 200 million Nigerians. Welcome to Elite TV. So, but if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do it to hit the subscription button and the notification bell, as well as stay with me to the end of this video to have a lot of knowledge about what is going on with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made a series of appointments that comes with a lot of criticism, especially the young man who he nominated to be the chairman of FEMA. But unfortunately, his name was withdrawn, which we talked about in one of our last videos. Now, the president seems not to be in charge of his government, and it shows from his appointment. For example, like I just stated, the young guy whose name was nominated, there ought to be a lot of investigation about this guy, whether he is fit enough to be the chairman of this particular agency. But unfortunately, that was not done. Among other kind of appointment that is being made by the president himself, is the president actually making the appointment, or some key members of his cabal making those appointments and giving approval, while the withdrawal of this young man. Here is a video of one of these government senior person under the Buhari administration within the last 8 years, talking so much about how President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has lost touch with his government. A
Nigerian young man, from what I hear, a bright young man. So really, he has no fault in this matter, in the sense that if he's being asked to do something, that's okay. But the system should have been able to know this kind of job. Who are those that, or what are the kind of qualifications that are required for this job, right? And it is this kind of criteria that will determine or guide those who are going to be, selected for that particular responsibility. So I can see clearly things have gone wrong. You are talking about the coordination and the synergy between the office of the Secretary to Government, the office of the security, and all the rest of it. It looks like from the time of the last government, I remember a very senior, an MD of a big parastatal, was removed just like that on the radio. And I called him. I heard this. Is it true? He said he also heard it. So I called the Secretary of Government then. I said, Secretary, I've just heard this. For what I know is that you were the one who signed his letter of appointment. So did you, he said he also heard it on the news. He never wrote any letter to him, the Secretary to the Government at that time. So it looks to me that the current president has inherited the terrible system and he's not improving on it, and that this is why everything seems to be going down the drain. If you are the president and this kind of thing is happening, Dr. Bugaji, who would you hold responsible? Let me tell you first, if I was the president, this thing will not even happen, Sheun. It will not even happen. If it should, anybody who is involved will be fired straight away. But who should be your go-to man? No, who should be your gatekeeper? This appointment, as far as I know, if they not change the system, is the Secretary to the Government. But the Secretary to the Government may not even know. He may not even know. So because I gave you an example of what happened. I called the Secretary of the Government then, and he said he has no idea. I even called the Chief of Staff at that time. And I said, Chief of Staff. He said, oh, yes, he heard about it. So you mean you were not part of it? He said, no, I was not part of it. People around the president, I mean, we saw it in the last regime, and it looks like it's a continuum, which is a very sad and tragic thing, that, this thing called a few people, and without the knowledge of the officers that are responsible, will connive and collect money and do all manners of things, and then start appointing people or giving them letters. There was somebody in the last government who got one appointment from one particular, he got one appointment letter, and he got another letter sacking him. Of course, he dropped the one that sacked him and took the appointment, and then later on the other person, I mean, it's all very messy. And this is the problem of incompetence. If you do not prioritize knowledge and integrity in your appointment, that is exactly what you're going to get. This country will continue to suffer because all institutions will decay, they will not do their jobs, and of course, our image, even within the country, if you were the checks are at about 3 levels. When I was in the presidency, I mean, usually the special advisor, this is part of their job. Now, when they do that, then it goes through the system. That is, the security will do their checks, the secretary to the government will do his check, and they depend upon who you are appointing. Sometimes the head of service also do his check if he has any record of the head of service. If he has been through the service and he's been given a political appointment. So all those that are involved must do their check, and then they come back. And you now consult the political stakeholders, either people from the party, from that particular zone, or from that particular state. You have to clear with them, because maybe he has some issues, with them. You wouldn't want until after the appointment that they do a delegation, they come and complain. That it means that you are going to be entertaining complaints. Clearly, what we have seen are evidence of the fact that the president is not in charge. Someone else is in charge. Now, it's for him to figure out if he wants to really be in charge. How can a name get to the point of getting to the National Assembly for clearance? That's the final stage. And then you don't even know. Anybody who would have been involved with this should leave.
It is now very obvious that the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is not in touch with what is happening in Nigeria. Because if you do, we will not be seeing all these back and fronts, making appointments, and then withdrawing them. For example, the appointment of the EFCC and the ICPC. Now you could see that if not for Femi Falana, who came up to speak vehemently against such high level of nepotism, the young man would still be the ICPC chairman, before he was withdrawn. Now look at the EFCC chairman. The EFCC chairman is not even a police officer, neither is he an investigative officer. But the laws of the EFCC stated that you need to be part of this in order for you to be the chairman of the EFCC. This comes to show that the president is actually appointing those that uncovered him or worked for him. But let's ask ourselves, when we look at integrity, are those people, fit enough in terms of integrity, capacity, and capability to handle those offices? I leave this to you to answer. Please don't forget, as I always said, politicians don't really care about the masses. It's just about their personal interests. So before you jump up to defend them, remember, they don't care about you. So let's keep it always civil. Thank you for watching.